Hey, Jeremy with Strength in Numbers again. Today I'm going to walk you through my 7-step process to help you cut cable, find an alternative, and save a ton of money every month. All right, so let's get right into it. Now, as we walk through the 7-step process, I highly encourage you to download my free ebook, The Money Finder, which has 6 chapters, one of which is dedicated to this topic. It's going to give you way more information than I'm going to be able to fit into this video and give you visuals and other things that will be helpful for you to walk through this process. So with that said, step number 1 is know thyself. You need to know what it is you're actually watching if you want to try to find it somewhere else. Make a list of all the shows that you love to watch, including any networks where you watch a lot of the content, and make a specific list saying ABC, CBS, Blue Bloods, The Office, whatever. Make a list of those things as to what you want to find when you cut cable so that we know what we're aiming for. So that's the first step, know thyself. Okay, step 2. So you've got your list of shows that you love to watch and networks that you love to watch, and now you need to understand what it is that you stand to lose. And so what I mainly mean by that is that you're looking at your bill and going, this is all the money I'm not going to have to pay anymore. I don't have to pay for the HD technology fee. I don't have to pay for these excise taxes and regulations, all that stuff that comes with having TV service, because with internet, when you're doing internet-based TV and you're only paying for internet, you're not going to have any of those taxes. It's illegal to tax internet service, and it's not regulated, so there's no regulatory fees as well. So it's a beautiful thing that you get to lose. You get to lose having to pay that. Now, there also may be some content that you need to give up in order to sacrifice, or excuse me, in order to get the benefits of not having to pay all of that. When I cut cable back in 2012, we had to sacrifice 20% of the things we like to watch, but we saved 92% of our bill, and that was well worth the trade-off. Trust me, there was plenty of other things to find to watch, and we haven't missed those things since. So that's step 2, know what you stand to lose. Okay, so step 3, find where your content is elsewhere. And this is where most people get really confused because it's just getting more and more crowded out there as to what your options are. So I want to break it down for you into 4 subcategories. Number 1 is the aggregators. Aggregators are like Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and things like that, where they're pulling a bunch of content in. They do have some of their own original content, but they're pulling a bunch of content in from other providers to put it all into a subscription package for you that's not live TV. Hulu is the best option for this, the Hulu On Demand, because that's really focused more on TV shows, whereas Netflix is more focused on movies and things like that. And the second section of things, second subcategory, is channel-centric. So HBO, Showtime, CBS All Access, things like that. HBO is the largest paid network in the country, so when that went to a subscription-only service without cable, you knew that this market was changing dramatically when the largest paid provider actually put that in place. Now it's almost been 2 years at this point, back in 2015. And then thirdly is what I call cable Lite. You're probably most familiar with this concept with a thing called Sling TV. There's also PlayStation Vue, Hulu Live, DirecTV Now, other things like that. And they're the most complicated because it's a batch of channels. It could be 40, 50, it could be 90, it could, whatever it is, but it's this internet-based cable subscription kind of, where you've got some channels you can pause, some channels you can rewind, some channels you can do both, some channels you can't do neither. And you've got to figure out how that all works, and it depends on your areas, what channels you get and all that stuff, and it gets more complicated. So I've got a nice comparison chart for you in my ebook, so make sure you're looking at that. But this is basically the concept of I have live on TV as well as some on-demand content where I can see things as they happen. And then the fourth category is the specialties. Things like Crunchyroll if you're into anime, Japanese anime, or WWE if you like wrestling, or I guess we'll call it wrestling, and those different types of things where you're going to find specialty niches where you want to get all you can eat content in that area. Just be careful with those that they don't rack up to become a tremendous amount of money you're spending on all these things. And that's especially where the ebook can be helpful, because it can help you see where you can find the stuff that you defined in step 1 and not have redundancy where you're paying for multiple things just to get this and that. And so it can really help you there. So that's step 3, find your content elsewhere. Step 4. All right, step 4 is for sports fans specifically, and this is usually the major holdout people have with cutting cable, but there's many different options out there for all the major, most popular sports, including some of the less popular sports. There's a solution. NBA has one, NFL has 2 different ones, NHL, and all those different ones, MLB, they've got them. And so look through the ebook and you'll see exactly what those are, what the costs are, and you can just subscribe to the season and be good and not need cable. So I challenge you, there is a solution out there for you, sports fan, and I don't knock it till you try it. Make sure that you actually cut the cable, and if it's not what you want, you can always go back. Okay, so step 5. You've gone through all the process of defining what it is you want to watch when you cut cable, where you're going to find it, and what your options are there so you can avoid redundancy. And now you have to ask yourself, how am I going to watch this? How do I see it on the big screen if I don't have my cable box and other things like that, right? Well, there's a few categories that I'll walk through. I don't recommend using your smart TV because, in all honest, smart TVs are pretty dumb. They're pretty slow, they're pretty clunky, they're pretty limited as to what different things that you can use to access. They may have a thing for Netflix, but not for all these other things like Sling, and they're not very updated very well. And if you're thinking of buying a TV and paying the smart TV premium, just don't. Just skip it. That's not where the future is. There's 4 companies that provide set-top boxes, or dongles, as you may have heard them called, because they're 2 different things, that will provide your needs. So first there's the Amazon Fire TV and the Fire Stick, and there's different variations of that. And it's okay, it's a good device, but the voice control is not really as good, or voice recognition is not as good, I find, as others. And so that's one option, though, is the Amazon Fire TV or the Amazon Fire Stick. With voice or without. Secondly is the Chromecast, great for Android owners to beam up to your TV from your mobile devices. It's much more inexpensive option. It can be a little clunky because it is still based on Android open source software and things like that, but that's your next option, is the Chromecast, and there's a couple versions of that as well, and you can get all these details in the ebook, of course. Thirdly is one of the most popular, which is Roku. You probably heard that name before, R-O-K-U, Roku. They have like 5 different versions at this point of the recording anyway. They have 5 different versions of their boxes. So there's many different options. Sliding scale all the way down from a stick to like $30 up to a 4K version that's over 100. So there's many different options with that. It is a little bit more limited as to what you can access and not access. I find the interface clunky. Some people don't. Some people like it. But again, that's trying it and maybe a good low budget option for you. And then lastly, as an admitted Apple fanboy, my favorite is the Apple TV. It really is the smoothest. It really is the best voice recognition, things like that. And you can install many different apps on it, not just for TV. You can play games with it. The remote is a game controller type thing. And so there's a lot of flexibility with this set-top box, the Apple TV. The way I look at it is, if my mother-in-law can figure out how to navigate it, that's the winner. It's easy, it's intuitive, it's very simple to navigate. So that's the Apple TV, and the last in our gear roundup here. Okay, step 6. So you're probably listening to this and going, what about my local channels? I need to be able to watch the ball drop on New Year's Eve, and I need to be... It's okay. There's a solution for that, right? And so when it comes to local channels, unless you're going with a cable Lite option where there's usually a local channel or multiple local channels included in that, you're going to need to have a solution for local channels. And here's a secret a lot of people do not know. HD quality versions of the local channels are streaming over the air right now as I speak for free. All you need to do is get an antenna to pick it up. No, I'm not talking about rabbit ears that are going to hang out the window. Technology has advanced a lot more since then. You can go get a great antenna for low cost, usually $30, $40. Whether an indoor and outdoor antenna is going to work better for you depends on where you live. And you can see this in the ebook as well. There's a FCC digital TV reception map. You can just click that, enter your zip code. I think you might even go down to your address, and it'll tell you what channels you can expect to pick up, which ones will be weaker or stronger in your area. And then you don't ever have to worry about local channels again if that's an issue for you. So make sure you grab an antenna and pick those channels up very easily. All right, it's time for step 7. Step 7 is simply commit. Commit to the process. You've done this work, you've got things in place, it's really going to pay off. It's going to save you thousands of dollars a year potentially in cable costs that are gone now. And just commit to the process. If you haven't really done it, maybe you need to wean yourself step by step. That's okay. That's what my in-laws had to do. Wean yourself step by step, or jump in with both feet, but commit to doing something and cutting cable. The way I look at cable is, it's like debt. If you get out of debt and you don't like it, it's very easy to go back into debt. If you cut cable and you give it a good college try for a few months and it's just not working for you, they're going to welcome you back with open arms. Happy customer, please come back. We need you because our industry is dying, right? What do you have to lose? Commit to the process, actually do it, and I think you're going to find with a good college try, you're never going to want to go back again. This has been Jeremy with Strength in Numbers, helping you keep your wallet heavy and your heart light.